Welcome. What happens when Earth says enough? When humanity misses the final chance to act? These movies take us into worlds destroyed by extreme climate change, irreversible global warming, melting ice caps, storms leveling cities, and droughts that burn life away. These aren't futuristic fantasies, they are warnings. Here are the best post-apocalyptic films about climate collapse that will stay with you long after the credits roll. Snowpiercer. What would you do if the last train on Earth was the only place where you could still breathe? 2013's Snowpiercer is a dark, post-apocalyptic sci-fi thriller set in an icy world after a global climate catastrophe. The Earth has frozen over, and the remnants of humanity survive only aboard a perpetually speeding train. But this train isn't just a shelter. It's a society encased in a steel body, divided into classes, with poverty at the back and luxury at the front. When the poorer passengers have had enough of the humiliation, a revolt breaks out. It is led by Curtis, who intends to reach the locomotive and uncover the secrets hidden by those at the top. Snowpiercer is an intense, brutal tale of inequality, revolution, and a desperate fight for a better world, in a place where there is nowhere to run. The Colony. Get ready for an icy nightmare where the Earth has frozen over and humanity is fighting for every breath. In a world where the sun has stopped heating and the planet's surface has been engulfed by snow and frost, a small number of people exist in underground colonies, living in fear and constant scarcity. When one of the outposts goes silent without a trace, a small group of daredevils ventures to the surface to discover what has happened. But behind the bunker door, something awaits that no one expected, something that hunts silently and knows no mercy. 2013's The Colony is an intense thriller about survival in a world where not only the planet, but also morality has frozen. Death can come cold or from another human being. Hell. No bombs or meteorites are falling from the sky. Something much worse is falling. Relentless light that scorches everything. In the 2011 world of hell, global warming has turned the Earth into a scorched desert, where the day is deadly and the night is too short to bring relief. A handful of survivors seek shelter, living with the hope that somewhere there is still a place to survive. But when they come across others, the question becomes which is more dangerous, the heat or the man who has nothing left to lose. Hell is a raw, sultry thriller that shows the end of the world doesn't have to explode at all. It can just dry up. In the worthy, only ruins are left of civilization, and water has become more precious than life. The post-apocalyptic tale takes place in a world where contamination has led to the collapse of entire societies. In a devastated world, a handful of survivors protect themselves in an abandoned hangar, guarding access to the last source of clean water. But when strangers show up asking for shelter, the lines between humanity and survival instinct begin to blur. Something that was supposed to be a community turns into a brutal selection who is worthy to survive and who is not. The film combines survival with psychological suspense, throwing the viewer into a world where the most difficult choices have no good solutions. The Worthy is a parable about the collapse of values in a world without principles. The last survivors. Not a single drop falls from the sky. Water has ceased to exist, and the world has turned into a dry, lifeless wasteland. In this devastated landscape, only a few survive, and not everyone plays fair. The Last Survivors is the story of Kendall, a young girl hiding in the ruins of her former life, who fights every day for what's left breath, a sip of water, hope. When the ruthless leader of the local community begins eliminating anyone who poses a threat to his control of the valley, Kendall is faced with a choice: keep hiding or take matters into her own hands. She has no superpowers, no army, but she has something more valuable: the will to fight. The Last Survivors is a minimalist but emotionally intense story of perseverance in a world that has long ceased to pity anyone. Climate change isn't fiction, it's our reality. And these productions show what could happen if we don't act. If you want more content like this, subscribe to the channel and comment which title impressed you the most.